Here with Dr. Stacy Poole. Will you tell us what brought us to, how did you hear about AtlasPROfilax?
Well, this is kind of a bit of a long story, but I'll try to shorten it. I had been with my son wrestling around a bit, and he basically made one move on my jaw. And my jaw was stuck in one position. It's very interesting because it was so painful. I couldn't open my mouth to even put 2 fingers inside. It was horrible. I couldn't eat. I had so much trouble for about 6 months. This was going on. I tried all of my colleagues. I tried chiropractic. Of course, I was helping myself using physical therapy. And I was terribly frustrated, in pain every day. And one of my friends gave me a ticket to the AtlasPROfilax seminar that was taking place at the veterinary university. So I went to the veterinary university, listened to the seminar, but I was extremely skeptical because in my field, our study of chiropractic, it's a 5-year college, and I had experience, and I was a little skeptical that something could help and be a permanent solution. So therefore, I met with Mr. Vlado Tomljanovic, and he adjusted my atlas, and boom, the next day, I was already, even within a few hours, I felt heat coming up into my jaws, into my head, and I could open my mouth. That was my the first situation I could completely open my mouth. And there was pain. The pain was still persistent, but I thought, well, I was still skeptical. Okay, this will last for a day or two. And I thought the pain would return. Amazingly enough, and this was 2.5 years ago, I'm completely pain-free. My whole body, I feel much better. I feel more flexible. So this for me was like a miracle. So today I'm telling most of my patients with enthusiasm, as much, I'm speaking very highly about AtlasPROfilax from my own personal experience. So that's it, in basically a shortened version.
That was your experience, and it really is fantastic. Now tell us about the patients. What did you notice with the patients that you sent to get the AtlasPROfilax Atlas correction?
Well, the first thing I noticed, I did have a few older ladies over the age of 60 that mentioned they were sleeping much better. They had more energy, some of the same sensations that I felt. They had less aching pain in their low back. They were feeling generally on a much lighter level, just completely much better. I would say more energy was what I noticed, yeah.
And as a chiropractor, did you notice that your adjustment was different, or that their body was different?
Oh, definitely. They were much more flexible, and they were coming to me. Usually I would tell the new patients come in 10 times, 12 times, for a program. But these Atlas patients, they would come in, and they only needed 2 or 3 treatments from me. Only 2 or 3 adjustments, and they seemed to be much better, which meant that when the Atlas is in position, the body is more flexible, and it's accepting the chiropractic adjustment much better. So I was amazed that these people were recovering, accepting my treatment on a higher level. So fantastic results.
Now tell me about it. You noticed on occiput, you noticed some changes too, physical changes that after adjustment took place. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes. Well, according to the sacral occipital technique by Dr. Desjarnette, we have Golgi tendon fibers here in the occiput area. And these Golgi tendon fibers, when the body is disbalanced, meaning the pelvic base, the entire spinal column is out of alignment, these little fibers tend to react. And these fibers on most patients are very active, and they're tender, they're little nodules under the skin in the occiput muscle. And they basically, on these Atlas patients, these little spots were disappearing. So I thought, this is amazing. And I wrote a letter to the SOT Sorcy Foundation trying to get a response, because I would like there to be some investigation about these Golgi tendon fibers. So it's something very interesting, because I noticed that the occiput on these Atlas patients is completely, it's a completely different position. It felt different. There weren't any more nodules. The muscles were flattened out, released, and the occiput was flattened. So I know that something definitely very concrete has happened here in this area. It's something that, cannot be. And a few patients that I did find that they had these terrible problems, they always had Atlas
And so far, all of the patients that you refer to the AtlasPROfilax method, the Atlas was still in, and with the subsequent visits, it was a lasting adjustment.
Yes, it was a lasting effect. And even these patients that came in after a year or two, I have them that come in continually once a month for chiropractic treatment, and 95% of them are very satisfied. Okay, we'll always get unusual patients that will complain, but they're never satisfied wherever they go. So, yeah.
That's great experience. And now tell me, you as a chiropractor, you also adjusted the Atlas, and tell me what techniques you used and what results you had with that.
Well, I've always, I mean, the Atlas, this is a region of the spine, this atlanto-occipital region. This is a very delicate region, so I'm not adjusting the Atlas very frequently unless it's absolutely necessary. And I use diversified technique to adjust the Atlas misalignments.
And how would you do that? Could you explain that to our viewers?
Yeah, I was adjusting manually. This is a move, you know, a manipulation, an adjustment. I mean, not to, it's a chiropractic adjustment. I would be standing, the patient would be lying supine on the back, and I would just make a move from the side and manipulate the Atlas. Nothing similar to AtlasPROfilax, completely, entirely different. So this is chiropractic adjustment. So.
I always wanted to say that I always tell people that after the Atlas adjustment or after the correction, I recommend the chiropractic treatment. I say that it's maybe somewhat less necessary, but at the same time I want to emphasize the need for for taking care of the lower cervical vertebrae or the lower back, the thoracic region that we don't deal with. Yes. That when the Atlas is adjusted, it does release some of the pressure, or maybe on those regions too, but it doesn't eliminate the need for maintenance. Yes, we have to, right? We have to maintain. We have to take care of our spine, and it's important to go to a qualified person. There's a lot of people that call themselves chiropractor, yet they didn't study chiropractic. They don't go to chiropractic college. There's, as far as I know, the only chiropractic college in Europe is in England. So unless they went to England or an American chiropractic college, they're not a chiropractor. So it's important.
Should check where
they should check that they go to a qualified person, and I know with the you went to Logan College, so chiropractic, and I watched you adjust my wife and my sister, so I know that it's effective. And I'm rambling now. I'm gonna edit this out. It's important that when people go to get an adjustment, that they don't go to somebody who's underqualified or somebody that will make experiments on their neck and on their back. Yes. They should go to a qualified person that will look at x-rays and look at images and determine if the adjustment is safe and what adjustments to make.
That's right.
It's very important.
Yes, very important.
I had
the person's qualified. Yeah.
I had many people, and unfortunately many people, go to a quasi chiropractor, to some self-taught person, and they went straight to the ER afterwards. I mean, straight to the ER. They had a pinched nerve in the lumbar region,
That's right.
and they went with that pinched nerve, and that person did an aggressive manipulation and made it worse. And I know a person that had the same thing with the neck, a pinched nerve in the neck, and they went to somebody who wasn't qualified. So it's very important that you go to a qualified person and don't let the self-taught people experiment on your body.
That's right.
It's very important.
Yes.
And as with anything, I think when you go to a chiropractor, the results are also immediate. You feel immediate change.
Immediate relief.
Yeah, immediate
sure.
relief, and you should feel immediate relief because
depending on the
of course
situation,
the specific situation, but it definitely offers general immediate results, and when you go to chiropractor, you should feel something immediately. Unfortunately, some of the newer schools of chiropractic, they may be too gentle. And did you have the experience that too?
Well, there are more than 200 or so techniques. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So you choose one
you choose one that's suitable.
Choose one that fits you. I like a little bit more the is it old school, or what is the proper way of?
The old classical.
The classic style of chiropractic. That appeals to me, and typically when I send people, they feel more satisfaction when they
have the classical,
specific, and less gentle maybe.